Let's get some reaction to that now. We have an expert panel, Professor of Oncology, Angus Dalgleish, lawyer and activist, Dr. Shola Mos-Shogbamemu, and the presenter of the Naked Scientist podcast and virologist from Cambridge University, Dr. Chris Smith. Dr. Chris Smith, what will this vaccine do? Does it prevent us getting COVID or just preventing us get it very badly?
What this vaccine from Pfizer does, and the way it works, actually, it's a genetic vaccine. So they've taken the genetic code that the coronavirus uses to make part of its outer coat, and they've wrapped that up in an oily bubble that means it can get into cells when you inject it very efficiently, and those cells read the genetic code and present what the outer coat of the virus looks like to the immune system. That has the effect of driving a powerful immune response, and it makes both antibodies, which are sticky molecules that go around in the bloodstream and can neutralize threats and things that shouldn't be there, as well as mobilizing white blood cells called T cells.
Is it safe,
that can
and would
fight
you
off
take
virally
it?
infected cells. So the end product is you get an immune response to the challenge, and what we don't know at the moment is how long that immune response is going to last
just talk
for.
quickly,
but as far as we know, it's safe and effective at stopping you catching the virus. It might also, at the same time, stop you therefore passing on the virus, because if you don't catch it, you can't pass it on.
Would you take it?
Well, you know, I'm with Jonathan Van Tam on this, and you were just talking to Matt Hancock, and he said he would roll up his sleeve as well. So if the MHRA says it's good enough for the British population, it's good enough for me.
OK, Professor Dalgleish, you're a little bit more sceptical. Why?
Not so much sceptical. I think this is very good news, and I think that it's a great step forward that we do actually have a vaccine that people can start taking. My only, what you interpret as scepticism, is the fact that the people taking the virus, they may have reasons why it might not be suitable for them. Certainly people with autoimmune diseases, and I also have a reason to be a bit concerned about people who've had the virus, so they've got a strong immune response ready, and then having a booster. It might not necessarily be the right thing to do. So
That's
I think just
interesting, because Matt Hancock, of course, has had the virus, but says that he would still take the vaccine.
Yes, I know. I noticed that, and I think that in the vast majority of cases it will not be a problem. One of the issues that I think is very important here is that we know that it induces good neutralizing antibodies, and then the white cell T cells, as Chris mentioned. And I think that it's worth bearing in mind that the long-term protection of the SARS-1 vaccine is in the T cells. There are no antibodies there too. So I would also like to know what the T cell response protection of people is who've already had it. And in my own scenario, about a third of my friends' family have clearly had COVID. So that's a really large percentage of the population.
Okay.
And that's before I go to my work colleagues, where 7 out of 8 of our junior doctors have tested positive, and the nurses, etc. So that's my only concern, is just to be a bit cautious.
Would you take it, Professor?
I've actually been involved with another one, so I would not necessarily take it on the grounds that you can have too much stimulation to an agent.
OK.
Dr. Shola,
yeah.
Will you take it?
Eventually, yes, after the most vulnerable and our NHS care staff have taken it. I think it's important to understand what the issues might be with taking the vaccine. We're talking about two potential groups here. On one hand, we've got COVID idiots who in the last 8 months have demonstrated such depraved indifference to life, deliberate ignorance and idiocy that literally puts lives at risk in the midst of a pandemic. And as far as I'm concerned, those who deliberately undermine measures to curb this virus should bear some consequences for their actions. On the other hand, you have those who have reasonable and justifiable questions and concerns about the vaccine. And I think this is a legitimate discourse to have, because there must be public trust in the efficacy of the vaccine, the full transparency around pros and cons, just like Matt Hancock, the question you put to Matt Hancock about if you've already had COVID-19, do you still need a vaccine? I think that once all these questions have been asked and answered, then social and civic responsibility kicks in.
Because at the it's end a great point to end on.
That was one of the best minutes I've ever heard. Well done. Thank you to our expert panel. We appreciate it.